Hello everyone, welcome to Wareham Media and the Gatemen recap of 2024. My name's Matt Lynds. You probably recognize me from Wareham Sports coverage of Viking football and basketball, but I'm also the public address announcer at Spillane Field for the Wareham Gatemen. And tonight for this recap, our guest, the president of the Wareham Gatemen, Glen Hannington, Esquire. Glen, thank you for coming in. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so why don't we start off with a brief history of the team. The league, we know, celebrated its 100th season last year, 2023. So when did the Gatemen come into the picture?
1927. So I don't understand why the league made the 100th last year, because a lot of teams started in the 1920s. But that being, I guess they're saying it's more organized 100 years ago. But the Gatemen came into existence 1927. We won our first Cape Cod League championship in 1930. So, in a few years we'll be celebrating both 2027. We'll probably have a 100th anniversary locally, and then the championship, if we're around, in 2030 for 100th. So the history, that's how far back that we do go. And it's been a wonderful ride along the way. I think the franchise and the team has been well respected, as is all the teams.
Yeah.
There's really no issues, and it's been a pleasure. Of course, we get ribbed that we're not on the Cape.
Right.
We do get that. I've gotten some calls from fans across the Cape. How come Wareham is in the Cape Cod Baseball League? Well, before the bridge, the canal was built, we were part of it. They considered I think it was from Plymouth to New Bedford, part of the Cape, and of course we're the gateway. So I'm just glad, we don't have to go over the other side a lot. I mean, it does even out, but it's tough on a Sunday night to go to Orleans. But they have the same rights. But no, so to answer your question, historically, it goes back to 1927.
Yeah, I think to circle back to the point of why was 2023 the 100th season, I did a little bit of research before tonight, and I know they had to shut down for a couple of years during World War II, so maybe that played into that. Yeah. But either way, Gatemen have been a solid member of this league for such a long time. Now, let's talk about last year, 2024. We finished 22-17, which was good enough for a playoff spot, and I think that was our first playoff spot in a couple of years.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, and unfortunately, things did not go the way we would have liked, and we were eliminated in the first game of the playoffs. But what did you see out of the team from last year?
Well, let's put it this way. We lost that game because we lost about 5 or 6 players to Major League Baseball, and so it's bittersweet. We felt it was a successful year, both on and off the field. Generally speaking, with all the Cape Cod Baseball League teams, you're not there for the wins and losses. It's all about grooming the young men and women, that both on and off the field, sideline reporters, broadcasters, things like that. We had a wonderful year. I mean, if you're asking about the record-wise and stuff, the first half of the season we were having close to the best record in the league.
Right.
But look, it's not an excuse, because all the other teams lost a lot of players to Major League Baseball as well. And I actually asked our coach too about that. Perception-wise, I mean, everyone lost players, but we got hit hard with that. But there was no down on that. Ryan Smythe brought a great culture to the team this year. We had over 23,000 fans, and that was on 2 less games. We played 2 less home games. We went from 44 games to 40, so which meant you lose 2 home games. And even though we lost 2 home games, we had about 7,000 more people. And I think that was because of the social media that got involved. I felt that we had one of the best social media programs with our interns, the staff, the people, all the volunteers that run the organization. And we took great pride in that. Of course, Major League Baseball helped out all the teams now, and you can watch a game a night, or as many games as you want on the cable with Cape Cod Baseball League. So every team has their own broadcasting. So it was pretty neat, but we had a good season, primarily because of the culture change. The community was behind us, and it was very, I'll give you an example. A few years ago, everyone knows when the players go and sell the 50-50 raffle, the wingspans, or half a wingspan. It was tough sometimes. Years ago, players didn't want to come out. They didn't want to come out and do it. Internally, I'm just giving you a couple inside secret. It wasn't always pretty. Under Coach Smythe, they fight. They fight for who can come out. Usually the pitchers that pitch the night before, they're not going to be playing anyway. So,
right.
But we this year we had a host of the kids that they just wanted to come out. We never had a problem, and they were great ambassadors both on the field and off the field.
Well, that's an important point, and I think a great time to talk about community participation. I can remember seeing, as you mentioned on social media, the players going out to the local libraries in Wareham, in Rochester, in Marion, not just limited to our town, but like reaching out. The players enjoy that?
Yes, absolutely. They're very cooperative with that. They know, look, these people, the fans look up to these people, these players, because they're the next major leaguers, and future major leaguers. So they appreciate it. They're so, from what I've seen and viewed, these players are so polite. They're very, very polite, these players. So wherever they're coming from across the country, and the different accents and their courtesies, I find them to be very, very polite and respectful to people, and they love it. You mentioned about the schools or the library and things. We're going to be going into the Council of Aging in the spring.
Oh, okay.
We're going to be, that's one of the ideas that's come up to expand our constituency. And because we have a lot of fans and volunteers from the whole area down here on the South Shore. So.
Part of community outreach as well is supporting the first responders, and we have a first responders night every year. That's always fun for families to come out to. We have all different kinds of emergency apparatus that the kids can get up close. They can climb in the trucks. They can, check out the police cruises. And I think the coolest moment for me was seeing the state police helicopter land in center field prior to the game. I mean, you just don't get to see things like that up close.
No, and we can thank Plymouth County District Attorney Timothy Cruz. He's the one that sponsors the night. He pays for all the meals for all the first responders, which is a lot. And so they all get coupons for concessions. And but a big thank you to him as well as our staff as well.
So what other activities or projects did the 2024 Gatemen get involved off-field?
Well, we, the camps are pretty busy there. That's very popular, when they're not playing. The camps are very, very popular. We'll do the, the schools, the Elderly Council of Aging we're going to get into. A lot of our sponsors would like to have the players come down or things like that and meet some of the people where they are. And so, their time is limited too. So
right.
So we have to make sure it's maybe we're off one day a week, and if we're going to do anything, we'll do it before practice or something like that. But everything is we're looking forward to next season already. Ryan's been putting together and working the phones, and as well as our general manager, Jay Spinelli. So.
Now, you mentioned the camps. Let's touch on that briefly. These are youth baseball skills camps where the youth in the area get to work with these Division I college athletes.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about that. How do the kids register for that? Who's that open to?
Well, again, I'll be saying it probably several times. Go to our website, gatemen.org. And you can register there, and it's open to the kids, little league age and above. And again, they're and they come to the games as well. There was a saying if we get the kids involved, that means the parents will get involved. And so we made a big push on doing kids events. In fact, we have a couple of several parents that help out on the kids table. When you walk in behind the third base bleachers, there's always a kids table set up.
Yep.
Bethany and Kim, they run that, and that's very popular, and it's just expanding. And we've had sponsors that want to just help out, and it's worked out well because I mentioned the 23,000 people and the several hundred thousands in hits on the social media. That helps with sponsors. So we've had a lot of new sponsors wanting to join us and come in and be part of what we're doing. And so the camp has been a big issue, a good issue. They'll meet the players. We'll have several times where we'll get to come to the game. That's another thing that Ryan, Coach Smythe instituted, that we have, what they call is a Field of Dreams. That actually started under Andrew Lang years ago when he was here as president. And at 5:30, after the batting practices are over, we'll bring any group out there and meet the players and get autographs and line up for the national anthem. So there's a lot of good things that we can do.
Now, for those of you out there, you might be listening to this and you go, they're college kids, that'll be fun, that's nice, they're top of their class. I'm sure most of you are aware, but for those of you that aren't, let's go over some of the major league players that have spent time in this league. To start, obviously, we're in Massachusetts, so for the members of Red Sox Nation out there, Mo Vaughn, who was a Wareham Gateman when he played in the Cape Cod Baseball League, Jason Varitek, Nomar Garcia-Parra. There are players as recently as Aaron Judge spent time in the Cape Cod Baseball League, and he just played in the World Series this year.
On that issue of the World Series, two things. Max Muncy, who played for the Gatemen in 2010, he played third base for the Dodgers.
There you go.
And secondly, I just talked to Tom Gay, actually, this afternoon on Unrelated Matters.
Yep.
And I told him I was coming down here and about the players, and he reminded me, he says, during the World Series, there was 15 former Cape Cod baseball players in the World Series, 15 of them.
So this is obviously a major developmental league for these athletes, and it really helps them. And I've heard the talk amongst the broadcasters over the summer about how this helps them kind of get ready, because when you're in college, you play a limited schedule. When you're in the pros, that's 162 games a year, so it kind of helps them get ready from, college season will typically go from maybe March to May. This will help them extend that from June to August.
Yeah, see, just to get a perspective, in the college versus the Cape Cod Baseball League, and this has been widely known, when you're in, the difference is, a player will face a pitcher in college, the ace every 4 games. In the Cape Cod Baseball League, you're facing an ace every night, every pitcher.
Right.
And so their batting averages are going to go down for 2 reasons. Number one, they're using the wooden bats versus aluminum in the colleges. And secondly, they get drilled inside, the bats break.
Right.
And so it's the pitching. So between the wooden bats, they're not getting that flare like into right field from a right-hand batter versus they're going to get their hands busted right there with an inside pitch. So their batting averages will go down probably at least 100 points when they come to the Cape League.
Well, we've had a lot of good interns come through the organization. One that's going to jump out to my mind right now is Amanda Foster, who was with us last year as our beat writer. I believe she came back at the beginning of this season as well. But she graduated last spring and ended up going back to Indiana to get a job with the Indianapolis Colts as media for them. So who were some of the other notable interns that you can remember that have come through our organization?
This is where I'm very proud of this, and a tear can come to my eye when you talk about this, because we're always interviewing interns. We put a lot of work into that. It's just not a given that an intern's out there. We actually do a lot of screening. Now, when Amanda Foster when she came to us, well, she applied 2 years ago as a broadcaster, but we had already filled the broadcasters. However, we looked at her resume, sports editor, Indiana University, and she was a great writer. So we gave her a chance. We said, come on up here. This was last year.
Mm-hmm.
We'll, be our beat writer. However, we'll try to get you into the booth a couple of times. And she did. She accepted. And the beginning of the year, when we had our pre-season party, she came up to me. And she said, Mr. Hannington, I want to thank you for everything. She says, I'm only going to be here for a little while because the Indianapolis Colts hired me. Isn't that nice? And then I'll tell you, I got another thing with our interns. My intern Joe from University of Michigan. They all develop relationships. So I get a picture with Joe from the Michigan football game. He's sitting with Dan Roach,
Mm-hmm.
one of our other interns from Seton Hall.
Yeah.
And they're sitting together at the University of Michigan. So, all these things. In fact, then you mentioned about how we ended the season. We ended the season in Kentuit that night. And there wasn't a dry eye in the place because all the interns, all the players, it was a great year. And they bonded all year. And it was sad that it ended.
Mm.
It was a happy sad.
Mm-hmm.
And you talk about all the interns, from the sideline reporters to the production team to the social media team, all terrific, the volunteers. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention our volunteers.
Right.
Our board of directors and the volunteers, they're the best. I mean, it's one of the best groups I've ever worked with. Their commitment, their dedication, their the ideas that they come up with, they're loyal, they're very motivated, and it's nice. And the good thing too is that we have a younger group coming up, which fares well for the organization. And I want to give a shout out to the John Wild Trust and with Patty Wild, the
Yep.
matriarch.
Yep.
And they've been wonderful. They were wonderful to us. That's why we're very solid organization right now.
Mhm.
But I can't say enough about our volunteers. And we're always looking for more, by the way.
Yes, I was about to bring that up. I mean, there's always a need for personnel to help work at the game on
Right.
game days. So, let's say somebody's really enjoyed coming to our game and they're sitting in the stands thinking, man, I really want to get a little bit more involved. I see so many people around here. If they want to get involved, what do they do?
Well, again, go to our website, gatemen.org, or they can call me off the website, and we'll fit you in with no pressure. There's just a commitment, obviously.
Right.
But we have everything from the concessions to the merchandise. If you like to cook with cook hamburgers and fries, you can help. That's a big one that we're always looking for. Or the merchandise booth. We have sponsorship openings. The very big thing, though, at this early stage is host families.
Yes.
That's a big one.
These kids are coming in from all over the country. We've had players from Louisville, Florida, east to west.
Right.
And obviously when they come here, they got to have a place to stay. They're here for the summer.
I know, we're one of the few organizations, too, that house our broadcasting team, too. So, we're usually looking for about 30 to 33 beds. And, some of our host families, they take in a couple as well. And if anyone would like to become a host family and you'd like to speak to one of our host family directors or to see what it's like, I would suggest to give us a call. It's a wonderful thing. And, some of our parents have gone to weddings of the players down the road. They don't forget, their time here. We were talking players before. How about Paul Skeens, who used to play with us, who was the starting pitcher in the All-Star game for the National League this year.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And he was the sensation. And then, of course, who from the Red Sox was the MVP of that game, Duran. He played for us as well. So And every time if someone goes to Fenway Park, it goes up on the scoreboard, they'll say, a member of the Wareham
Yep.
Gatemen.
Yep.
It will say it. So, we're very proud of that.
As back to the host families for just a second, there might be people a little hesitant about that. You don't want to have a stranger, so to speak, come and live in their house. But I strongly recommend, as Glenn mentioned, reach out to the host family committee, because I've had the opportunity to talk to some of these host families, and the experience is just out of this world, and one of the best possible things you can do. And I have heard them refer to these players as part of their family.
Yes.
Like, I can remember, I think it was Joanne who helps run our
50-50.
meals in the 50-50. And, she said, oh, I need to get out there and watch. That's my kids pitching,
Right.
because it was her player that
Right.
was in the game at that moment, and she
Yes.
was just so excited to
Yeah.
watch him play. So it really is an amazing opportunity, and I strongly recommend, if you've got the space, if you've got the extra bed, think about it, give a call, just listen to some of the experiences and how wonderful it is.
Yes, and they'll explain what it takes, and the responsibilities and obligations, and so we have players come and go, but generally we need 30, 35 beds to make things work. But that's been it. Oh, and speaking of other activities, now I don't know if this will be run in time or not, but the Veterans Day Parade.
Okay,
We were in it last year, it was the Gatemen.
okay.
And then this year, we're going to be going as well. And the kids are going to be giving out the stress balls. I know there's a lot of stress around here, so you can give these stress balls to the staff.
We could probably use them. Check that out. It's got the Wareham Gatemen logo right on it. I love it.
So these are going to be giving out at the parade in hand. They're not going to be thrown. They're going to be in hand. And I also brought you some folders here for the staff.
All right.
And since I opened the folder, I'm going to give a plug. November 17th, they're going to have the Hall of Fame class for
Okay.
2024.
Yep.
And we're fortunate we have two gatemen that are being inducted into the Hall of Fame. Sherry Gay has been a big committee member, both locally here and on the Cape League, and she's worked very hard. And I told her I'd get this in. Andrew Kalika, he was from Santa Barbara in 2015. He won the batting league championship, batted .425. And the other gateman is Pat Neshek, and he was a closer. He was outstanding in 2001, 4-2 record in 14 games, 29 strikeouts, and only 1 earned run. And as I go down the list being inducted, we have Todd Helton. I think people have heard of him from Colorado, and he played for Orleans. So there's a lot, anyone who wants to go to that, again, by November 17th, again, let us know and get your tickets on that too.
Yeah, so again, just a lot of outstanding players, well-deserved, and congratulations to all the members of the 2024 Hall of Fame class. Let's talk about the field, Spillane Field, and you guys have done some magnificent work with that. It's in great condition. You put in the scoreboard out there that the high school gets to benefit from. So are there any renovations coming up or any upkeep for the field? Or
Yes, there's going to be major renovations.
Okay.
We're hoping to begin that within any week now. It's going to be, it's going to enhance both the fans and for the players. Like, can't give out too much.
all right.
Rather let everyone be surprised. But you're going to be people will be very pleased with the, as long as the weather cooperates.
Right.
Hopefully, I will say we're going to be replacing the dugouts.
Okay.
I think we're the only dugout that gets flooded when it rains. So we do have to take care of the dugout situation. And the scoreboard's been terrific too. I know the first few years we had movie nights, and it was awesome where we'd have over 100 kids running around. We had the Sandlot a few years ago. I think last year we had Angels in the Outfield. And you have to know your crowd. It's going to be a G-rated.
Absolutely.
So, we didn't get to do it this year. I think it was a combination of there wasn't a day off, and we were in the playoffs. And so hopefully next year we can try to do so. In fact, I think we did talk about it, maybe do it in June
Okay.
before the season starts, like a night to get everyone out there, and we'll pick a movie,
That'd be a good welcome back,
Yeah.
maybe for 2025.
Right.
It's a terrific family experience going to the ballpark.
Well, you do a great job yourself as the announcer. I
well-
just asked you off camera if you were coming back, and you said you hope so. That's
That
great.
that's the plan,
You
anyways.
did a great job. It's
I
an area
mean-
we don't have to worry about with you up there.
All right, so I think we're just about through all of our points here, but I'm going to put you on the spot with one thing. As you mentioned, you hear me say at least 2 or 3 times a game, you can keep that foul ball, courtesy of attorney Glen Hannington and his daughter Tevis. Now, how long have you been the president of the Gatemen?
Well, I've been the president for a couple of years now. But
Okay.
I was senior vice president probably for about 15 or 17 years prior. Tom Gay was the president long term, and then Andrew Lang was the president. And then a couple years ago, when Andrew got elevated to the president of the whole league, and Tom was winding down, they had asked me if I wouldn't mind stepping up, and so I did, and everyone stepped up too and helped.
So my question is this: how many foul balls do you think you've given away during your tenure as president?
Probably thousands.
Yeah.
Well, when I first started doing that, I've been with the league with the team over 20 years. At the time, they used to give a friendly's ice cream certificate to get the ball back. That's what was happening, and so I ended up. I'll tell you the story how it really happened.
Okay.
People want to know. Over 20 years ago, I'd never been to a game, so I was with my daughter Tevis. I said, let's check out a game. So we go, and there's kids behind the backstop. Before that fence was there, it was just a straight
Right.
field. And she stopped, and I said to her, why are all those kids in the back there? She says, Dad, they were waiting for a foul ball. Can I wait? I said, okay. So first inning, second inning, third inning. I said, Tevis, come on, let's go. Let's go watch the game. So I sit in the stands and I'm reading the program. And it says, you can sponsor game balls and have your name announced 3 times.
Yeah.
So I called up Mr. Wild and I said, I'd like to do that. So we did it, and she got her ball. It's her autographed ball. So I do a lot of marketing myself. So I called Mr. Wild up again, and I said, what if I do the whole season start next year? We'll work something out. He says, I'll call you in October. He called me in October. He said, we're on. So I ended up, ever since then, and then I got involved on the board with a few of the old timers there, Jim McCann, Tom and Sherry Gay, and Linda McCann. I ended up getting involved at that point. And then Tevis became an intern, and every time Tevis came back, she lives out of state in New York, she's like a rock star, because people will finally see, she's thrown out her first pitch a few times. So she comes back as a rock star. And in fact, we're going to have to change that announcement next year.
Oh?
So Tevis is expecting in December.
Oh, that's great.
So we've been joking. You can keep that ball, courtesy of attorney Glen Hannington and his daughter Tevis, and, I don't know the and yet, so.
To be determined.
To be determined. So that's it. You asked, and that's the story. People.
Is that your first grandchild?
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Congratulations, Glenn. That must be something, that's fun you're going to be looking. And right around the holidays, too?
December 23rd.
Wow. Hey, my youngest stepson was born on December 28th, so.
My wife was born January 1. So, yeah, you never know.
No, it's a great opportunity. If you're in the area and you haven't been, why? I felt ashamed because I moved down to this area in 2017. It took me 2 years before I finally got to a game, and I kept meaning to do it. And I think part of it is the season's so short. You think you got more time than you actually do. But it's so fun to watch all the kids running around for, foul balls. And, first game we went to, I was able to get one for my stepson. So please check out Gatemen.org.
Gatemen.org.
Gatemen.org. We're always in need of volunteers. You'll be able to get the full schedule. Glenn, what are some of the things you're looking forward to for next season?
Well, we're going to have a new roster, so that will be exciting. You know, generally everyone loses 99% of their players, so looking forward to again keeping the culture that we had this year. You know, the interest. We've been getting a lot of calls already for interns from all across the country, and it's a great resume builder. You know, we even do singing the national anthem.
Right.
Those people who call up, you know, we
Right.
do vet them. You know, I ask them to send a tape to make
Right.
sure they can sing. So we're looking forward to it again, and you know, you learn from every year. And I think with our volunteers right now, they're gung-ho promoting the children and the kids' sake. You know, we're going to do a lot for the kids.
Good, good. I'm sure people at home might have gotten a glance of the ring during our discussion here tonight, but let's take a look at it. The Gatemen 9-time Cape Cod Baseball League champions. As you mentioned, the first one in 1930, the most recent in 2018, and I know we're looking to get another one.
Yeah, 2012 we had one, and that's with Kyle Schwarber. You
Yep.
know, he's a big ball player
Yep.
for the Red Sox and the Phillies, Cubs, Red Sox, Phillies, and so you know, we have that. That was 2012, and then this is 2018. This is what the players and the organization gets, courtesy of, again, the Wild Trust. So we thought that we were, you know, every 6 years, the 2012, 2018, and we were hoping the 2024, but it didn't work out, but that's okay.
Well, you've shown growth and improvement, and I think we're going to be continuing to see that, you know, back to the playoffs this past year after a 2-year absence. So there's only great things can happen going forward. But Glenn, I want to thank you again for coming in tonight to recap the 2024 season. Folks, it's a great time. Please head out, and we hope to see you at the ballpark in 2025. But that is going to do it for us for the Gatemen recap. Thank you for joining us on Wareham Media. Again, my name is Matt Lynds, and I'll see you at the ballpark next year.
Thank you very much.